The 4 o'clock lineup features various intriguing matchups. First of all, we have Falcons at the Chargers, two undefeated teams, which many people may not know because most people just aren't paying attention to the Chargers after the disastrous season they've had last year and the fact that they haven't been to the playoffs in a while. Many people simply wrote them off. And they are 2-0 right now. I predicted that Phillip Rivers would have a bounce-back season, and he's proving me right so far. Though, of course, they haven't had a challenge as quite to the magnitude of the Falcons yet. And the Falcons, they played well on Monday night, and against Peyton Manning, that defense, they seem to have him confused all day. And they are clearly the favorites to run away with this. No need to mention the fact that it was big news in case you hadn't heard. Michael Turner, after the Monday night game, got arrested for DUI. But at the moment, from what I read, he's a first-time offender and he's not subject to discipline unless he does it again. In which case, fines and suspensions become a bigger issue. But for now, things should be normal. And then you have the Eagles at the Cardinals, which, once again, 2-0 teams. And 2 weeks ago, this looked like it would be a bye week for the Eagles, basically, just riding another win. But through the first 2 games of the season, the Eagles have turned the ball over 9 times. They've been fighting injuries since the preseason. Macklin and Dunlap are both out. They've both been ruled out of the game already. And then you have the Cardinals, who they've been playing tight defense since the start of the season. They upset the Patriots last week to go 2-0. However, I still think I have to give the edge to the Eagles in this one. I have trouble believing that Michael Vick would have 3 straight games with 4 interceptions. And if he does, there's some issues going on there, and long term, their season might be in jeopardy. I mean, short term, I think there's pretty much no way they won't start 3-0. But still, if they continue turning the ball over like they have been, there are some issues that need to be addressed. And Sean McCoy, I can't remember the last time that he went consecutive games with fumbles. And then you have the Steelers at the Raiders, which the Raiders, arguably the worst team in football. They're usually down there with the Browns every year, fighting for the worst record in the league. And this year seems to be no different as the Raiders start 0-2. And going up against Big Ben and the Steelers defense, they should shut it down again. Should. And I'm actually choosing the Raiders to win this one with an upset. And why? Just because the Steelers have been up and down all season. There are so many names on the injury report. Once again, it looks like Polamalu and Harrison will both be missing time. And I think this week it'll affect them more than anything else because Darren McFadden looked like shit last week. And Run DMC is arguably the best halfback in the league. He brings the total package. Size, speed, strength, versatility, agility, quickness. And I think after the disaster that he had last week, he might feel the need to come out and prove himself. I think Darren McFadden's going to activate beast mode and just run circles around the Steelers defense. And Big Ben's just not going to be able to do enough to keep up. Their O-line is horrible, and the strength of the Raiders defense is the D-line. So for my upset special for the week, I'm going with the Raiders to topple the Steelers. And then the last 4 o'clock game, you have the Texans at the Broncos. This is the first real test that the Texans have had this year. They've managed to start 2-0 playing against some subpar clubs. But Peyton Manning should provide that defense with that first real challenge. It'll be interesting to see how Matt Schaub does against corners like Champ Bailey and Tracy Porter. Of course, this is all kind of mute since Arian Foster will be doing all the dirty work yet again for the Houston offense. So I gotta go with the Texans to win this one. And then, of course, you have the Sunday night matchup, which everyone's looking forward to. The Patriots at the Ravens. Now, they were both they were in the AFC Championship last year, and the Ravens should have won it, except for a few miscues. Lee Evans with a drop in the end zone, and then Billy Cundiff wide left. And both teams were expected to be 2-0 coming into this. Ravens upset by the Eagles last week. Patriots really upset by the Cardinals. Terrell Suggs, he's not playing right now, but the defense still looks strong. Ray Lewis, after 17 years in the league, amazingly still looks faster than ever. Ed Reed's gotten a pick in both of the games to open the season. So the defense still looks strong, and on top of that, the offense for the Ravens finally looks like it's gelling. Ray Rice is always a beast. And Joe Flacco, right now, he's actually looking like a pretty decent leader at QB. He's getting everybody involved. He's Anquan Bolden. He's finally doing the dirty work, like what they brought him over to do. Dennis Pitta, he's starting to emerge as Flacco's favorite target. Whereas the Patriots, Tom Brady hasn't quite looked like himself. The offensive line isn't quite what it was in the past. The pressure's starting to get to him. Hernandez is injured. They just signed Kellen Winslow, but at the same time they just signed him. It's hard to believe that the chemistry will be there. Welker hasn't been himself either, and it's just these don't really look like the same Patriots. Their offense isn't really that scary right now, and so I kind of have to go with the Ravens to win this one, especially since they're playing in Baltimore. If they were playing in New England, I might give the Patriots the edge. Bill Belichick is a great head coach, but I think I'm going to go with Baltimore for this one. And then you have the Packers at the Seahawks on Monday night, which I think we all know why this was originally made a Monday night game. And a few people are very disappointed at it because it was supposed to be Matt Flynn coming in to face his old mentor in Aaron Rodgers. Instead, we've got rookie Russell Wilson, while Flynn sits on the bench, with like $500 million in his pocket. So, yeah, I don't think he's really that disappointed. You're getting paid that much money to just sit around and watch. I mean, shit. I wish I could get paid that much to just sit on the bench. But actually, this is a very underrated matchup. Many people rightfully assume that the Packers will run away with this one, and you're probably right. And as long as the Packers defense plays like they did last week against the Bears, there is no way the Seahawks stand any real chance. However, let's not underestimate the Seahawks, because you saw last week, they've got a very physical team. Their defense is very strong. They've got a lot of tall players in that secondary, and I think it'll provide a good matchup for that Packers offense. And they haven't been able to get the run established for a long time, and the Seahawks do have a decent run defense, and they're pretty good when it comes to defending the pass too, and they play very physical. So this will be a closer matchup than what most people would have predicted, but still, I'm giving the edge to the Packers.